want more. Crime babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day and every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Even 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Alrighty. Yeah. Let me see. Is the audio good? Yeah, y'all. I'll see you on the other side. Okay. So yeah. So now that people have had a little bit of time to digest, I mean, at least I have. I've had some time to kind of digest this last Senate vote. And to, because listen, anger, emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's, depression, doubts, loser syndrome, whatever the fuck it is, right? Emotions is not the way you can proceed forward. Your reaction to your emotion or your frustration is not going to clinically resolve the issue here. And I think, pretty much a lot of the podcasters and, people that vote probably understand that because they've seen that play out time and time again. When you don't get your way with a vote or a particular political, initiative and things like that, So, yeah, I can dig it, but But at least I've realized that like I don't go on my emotions, and maybe it's easier for me because I'm not so caught up in it being an American citizen who lives outside of the U.S. I mean, I do what I think is the right thing to do. I vote for individuals I think genuinely care about American people. I vote for people I genuinely believe put Americans first, put the U.S. first. And that's despite your background, your color, your ethnicity, your gender, your sexual orientation, what state you come from, any of that bullshit. Because I've been traveled around the U.S. for some time as an American. You know what I mean? I've traveled to different parts of the country. I know American people firsthand, my face, just face to face. I know strangers on the street that I walk up to just by myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I know how American people really are. Same way I travel outside of the U.S. I go face to face myself, So I've learned a lot doing anthropology, just meeting people where they are on their own terms, and with this political thing, I think it's proper to say that, folks, just take a breather and just examine the facts and the situation for what it is. Now I've seen other podcasters already give their instant reactions, and I get that because, everybody's got their word. Everybody got their word on it, and hold on 2 seconds. Yeah. It's hitting the back of my hoodie. Everybody has their word, and duly noted. People should have their opinion. And I value a lot of the podcasters' opinions, the ones on the left, and also more than their opinion, their analysis. See, that's the key word, opinion and feelings and emotion is not always analysis. And I'll also value the hard work, the information sources that a lot of the podcasters put out, the left, they're doing better than legacy media, man. Legacy media is the problem, is why the United States is not American first. It's legacy media. The United States is not Americans first. It's not an Americans first initiative. It's a corporate initiative that puts money over lives, and it separates American citizens of all types. I'm talking about citizens who have deep roots in the country. It puts them aside and doesn't really take up their actual concerns. To be honest with you, that's my feeling. Whereas I feel like the left is a better, in terms of podcasters and social media, is a better representation. The reasonable left, the rational left, which is more rational than the right, more reasonable than the right. I really do value their interpretations, but. So therefore I asked this question, because I thought about this. I mean, I thought about my feelings in the election last year. Now, I voted for Kamala Harris. That was last year. Why? Because I know that she agreed with a lot of the policies that Biden had, even though the Supreme Court didn't. The Supreme Court doesn't agree that students should have a, student debt relief. That's not what the Supreme Court said. They also don't agree with a lot of other forms of relief, reparative damage, and, hey, the Supreme Court is why in some states a woman can die giving birth right now, because they have some right wing extreme ideologies that say that even if you're raped, you got to have a baby, even if you're not raped, you got to have a baby that is putting out fumes and putting out poison toxins into the mother's body that will cause her death before the baby is born. They will still make that. But, so this is the kind of Supreme Court the U.S. has. This is what legacy media often backs up. And but knowing that in retrospect, just knowing that last year in retrospect, I knew the stakes were high with the last election. Click like, by the way, please, y'all, if you're listening, click the like button. And the chat is just for subscribers right now. So if you want to get in the chat, just subscribe. It takes you 1 minute of waiting time, and then you can get in the chat. I like to do it like that sometimes so we can differentiate troll behavior from the rest, right? But in any case, last year, I knew in retrospect how important the last election was, how important it was to get a Democrat in the White House. Why? Because Republicans were making gains already. There would be a likeliness a likelihood that Republicans could take all parts of all branches of government, and just having one branch in your corner could be enough to kind of put off a lot of crazy damage. Like, you wouldn't have this big, beautiful bill being signed into legislation with Kamala Harris there. You wouldn't have it with Biden there. You see what I mean? So despite her color, despite her ethnicity, despite her gender, I was like, you know what? This is probably, and a woman is probably going to want to make a mark on the country, since a woman has never been given that chance before, ever in the history of the United States 250-year-old history. Right. So I voted for Kamala Harris. I can see right now that was the best vote. That could have stopped a lot of the shit you're seeing right now. But that didn't happen. And why didn't it happen? Because a lot of people didn't come out to vote. One third, which is 80 million people, eligible voters, 80 million registered voters, citizens of the United States of America, did not come out to vote in the last presidential election. And those people will be affected today by the big, beautiful bill. Those people will be. Had they come out to vote, it is possible there would be no such thing called a big, beautiful bill at all. Nothing like it. Why? Because that one person in the White House could say, oh, hell no, this is going to affect too many mothers. This is going to affect too many granddaddies. This is going to affect too many children. This is going to affect too many students. This is going to affect too many everyday Americans. This is going to affect too many. Somebody that gave a damn about the housing market could have been good that they were there. But now too many people are going to lose their houses just because they can't afford to pay. Too many people are going to lose their health care. They're going to lose their house or their health care now for sure. A whole lot of Americans are 100%. And we will be counting each and every one that loses their health care or their home trying to keep their health care, because there is no way any middle class person can keep both. You just ain't going to keep both, yo. Just cough it up. Maybe if you're in the upper middle class, you can struggle it out, move in a couple of more people into your home. That might help. Get rid of a couple of cars. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I noticed a pattern, even though I don't live in the United States anymore as a grown-ass man, American citizen. I noticed a pattern here when it comes to these elections and people don't get what they want. The first fucking thing some people tend to do is go out and look for someone to blame. And this time around, it's going to be Schumer. Schumer to blame. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care if people blame. Schumer ain't perfect. Who's perfect? Raise your hand if you're perfect, yo. Raise your hand if you're perfect. Any one of you. Raise your hand. I know a few that I definitely think are very, very strong. But I don't count Schumer out on being strong at all, yo. I don't count Schumer. I don't count Hakeem Jeffries out on being strong. I don't count out AOC as being strong. The issue here, I think, you will always find people that support AOC and say Schumer's weak or say Hakeem is weak. You will find even MAGA Mike Johnson was gunning for Schumer. Punk ass MAGA Mike Johnson gunning for Schumer. Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave Schumer alone right now on this one. Just because I know MAGA Mike. If MAGA Mike Johnson is gunning for Schumer, fuck that. I'm not gunning for Schumer right now. Nah. And I said this before. There's always this tendency to flip-flop, to have people, you're going after Schumer because Schumer didn't keep the Senate together, all the Democrat Senate voters. I mean, this is what they challenged the leader with, keeping the party members under one thinking, one vote, standing together. This is what people are blaming Schumer for now. But let me tell you, a lot of the same people were just blaming Hakeem Jeffries, and nobody broke into Congress. You see what I'm saying? You see what what I mean? Like, nah, man. Yo, everybody can do better. Everyone can do better. Everybody can, even the goddamn podcasters can do better. Even though I'm not really blaming the podcasters, because I mean, you know, even if you're doing excellent, hey, that's great. A lot of them are doing excellent work. But this thing about trying to look for somebody, yo, guess who's to really blame? The senators that didn't vote, that didn't keep and hold the line, and the American voters who did not turn out to vote in the last presidential election. You are where are you at? You are directly to blame. And here's why. Because congressional members, politicians, they need your fucking support no matter what they think. They can think any goddamn thing. Without your support, fuck it. Without your support, they need to be a part of something. You can't stand alone for people that don't vote for you. Guess who's voting right now? Guess who came out and voted more than they ever fucking came out and voted just a couple of days ago, when people saw they were about to lose their health care. Yeah. When people saw, oh damn, shit is a dire circumstance. Yeah. Now they coming out to vote. People always vote more when they think there's something that they definitely going to fucking lose once they realize it. But people had this discussion last year. 2024, it ain't even a whole year ago. People said you were going to fucking lose your health care. God damn it. Why didn't you fucking come out to vote? What did you think the vote was about last year? What did you think the presidential election? You think it wasn't about your health care? You think it wasn't about your voting rights? You think it wasn't about any of that shit? It was. And if somebody living outside of the U.S. can know that, the people living in fucking side also had to fucking know. Straight up. So my thoughts on it are, stop looking for someone who blamed, especially Schumer, because Schumer didn't fucking vote for this bill. He voted against it. How crazy is that? Like, yo, blame the voters, because these voters knew the stake. These voters knew last year that the President Donald J. Trump, that was running against Kamala Harris, they knew that this president would try to even overturn the Voting Rights Act. They knew that was at stake. And what did people do? Didn't make them fucking vote then. They knew every goddamn thing they needed to know last year, and they didn't fucking. So you know what that tells me? That tells me Americans, they like to complain about the people that are fucking doing the real hard work. The people that are actually in their corner. That's who they like to blame. And they don't even back them up when they have the opportunity to fucking back them up when they're talking about their own motherfucking asses. That is insane. That is fucking insane. You didn't back up the very people that were fucking trying to save your goddamn life last year. Just that one person in the White House could have stopped all of this bullshit. Talk about an easy wild card on shutting down MAGA. That was your wild card. That was your wild card on shutting down someone trying to fuck with your vote. That was your wild card on someone trying to fuck around and take your health care. That was your wild card with someone trying to fuck around and, not help you out with your student debt, not help you out with the prices, the goods. Everything sunk with that one decision. What the? Blame yourself. And you understand something. The pain you are going through because of your choices. Not Schumer, not Kamala Harris, not Hakeem Jeffries. No. Not Biden. Because when they tried to tell you last year, you didn't fucking listen. Not enough Americans. And now those Americans that didn't listen last year, that didn't come out to vote last year, now they're going to find out what it was about for sure. Now they're going to find out what it was about. That's how it works in a democracy. You either vote or you don't. And guess what? Waiting till the last second to vote is not always a guarantee. No, 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 no. And this was waiting the last second to vote. And it just didn't work out. Why? Because it's easy to turn over a couple of fucking senators, you know, when they see that a certain percentage of the population don't vote. That's easy to do. That's easy to do. In fact, that's always going to happen. You know what's going to guarantee you change? When everyone fucking comes out and fights for what the fuck they want. That's the bare minimum. Vote for your fucking health care for your fellow American, you jackasses. Vote for your own fucking education, you jackasses. Vote for an affordable fucking job and housing, you jackasses. You motherfuckers that didn't vote are jackasses. No one else to blame. Zero to blame. Get it straight. There's nobody else to blame. That was in your court. That was something you could have done about it. That was something you could have done about your own life. That was something you could have done about your fellow Americans' life, and you refused to do something about it. I hope you don't make that mistake in the future, and I'm pretty sure you won't with a whip on your ass. Whoosh. Pretty sure you won't. Yeah. But having said that, you know, I'm cool with people, you know, that think they can do better. I'm cool with people thinking they can do better. Right. But, you know, let me tell you, it doesn't matter who you say casually, AOC, Gavin Newsom, anybody you pick. They ain't going to do a motherfucking thing if the voters don't come out and back them up. Let me tell you that much. You 30% of the population that didn't vote the last presidential election. If you don't bring your ass out and vote this every election from here forth, you ain't going to do nothing. You're just talking shit. You're just talking shit. You see what I mean? And you will leave the other elected officials in a situation that want to do something, in a situation where no matter how much shit they do, they can't do shit, because it all comes down to you bringing your lazy ass out to the voting, whatever the hell they call that, voting polls, right? But coming out to the poll and voting. Right. Or doing it online. And now maybe this new president doesn't want you to vote online. Maybe this Congress doesn't want you to vote on a mail in. Maybe they don't want your grandmother to vote from her home because she's sick, or your granddaddy to vote because he's sick, or anybody to vote because they're sick. Maybe that's just the American way. You're sick. Oh, well, fuck it. Can't get a job when you're sick. Oh, well, fuck it. Can't get health care because you don't have a job. Maybe that's just the way. But you can't say you didn't have a chance. You can't say you didn't have a chance. And if somebody, an American citizen living outside of the country, knows what the stakes are, you ain't got no motherfucking excuse being inside the country not knowing what the stakes are. Nobody. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And since I do have health care, since I do have universal health care living outside of the U.S., since my kids do get paid to go to school living outside of the U.S., I'm glad some of you MAGA motherfuckers going to have your health care go up because you voted for this. I'm glad some of you Trump supporters are going to feel the pain too, because I'm going to be reporting on it also. Yes, I will be. I will, because you are not rich. No. You are broke asses also. The only difference between you and the people that didn't vote is you're fucking, you know, you're actually insanely ideological. You know, you can really be tricked out of your shit. Like, all you got to be shown is an illegal immigrant, and then you will give up your house and your family's legacy all over one illegal immigrant. The people that didn't vote, a lot of them are depressed. You know what I mean? Dissatisfied. They're thinking that's some sort of way to boycott. Well, I bet you found out that was the wrong way to boycott. So that's a little different. You know, insane and depressed aren't the same thing. And guess what? In the United States of America, they equal the same thing. 1/3 insane, voted for Trump. Another 1/3 didn't vote for nobody, depressed. And only 1/3, only 1/3 actually had any motherfucking brains, actually paid attention at all. Only 1/3. But they didn't get their way. And I'm pretty sure That 1/3 is in a better situation than a lot of other people, actually, regardless of what goes on. Isn't that ironic? That is just how shit goes. Let me see. Look at this. Somebody said, this is how you know they got no talking points. Somebody said, grab your crankles. No more fun. Hold on. Who is this? This is Eric. Oh shit, Eric, you like grab your crankles? Yeah, they better grab the crankles now, cause Crankles got what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't vote for anybody, you voted for Crankles. That's what you got. You know what I'm saying? Damn, somebody said they didn't vote for anybody. Well, you voted for this, baby. You voted for this. Yeah, you did. Because if you didn't stand in opposition to this shit, the easiest way to have stood in opposition with this shit was to vote in 2024 for Kamala Harris. That was the easiest way. You know what I'm saying? Damn, Fox, but at least you admit your mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because but don't do it again, brother. Be active if your brother or sister. Right now, you're going to have to be 8 times as active politically to resolve this shit. So do your best. Do your best from here on. But let's not get into the blame game about, I'm not into the blame game about, especially blame game to people who, how the fuck am I going to blame someone who voted against this bullshit? I would never blame anybody who voted against this. Schumer voted against it. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. Is he responsible for what the other senators did? Not in the United States of America, because there's always a couple that's going to get paid under the table. There's always a couple of senators on any side, independent, Republican, Democrat, that's going to take the check under the table. Yeah. And the only way the American people can beat over that is to vote in huge numbers. What is the amount of the population that even fucking votes? 1/3 of the population didn't vote. That's very, very low. That's 80 million people in the presidential election. That's bigger. That's a bigger population than many Western countries. You know what I'm saying? That's insane. And now you're all going to have to pay. You're all going to have to pay more, and you could see a lot of Republicans are so dumb right now. They still thinking, you Dems are going to have to suffer because your health care is going up. Well, the joke's on you, because your health care is going up too. And most of Republicans that voted for Trump are broke asses. They're broke asses. I mean, they only voted for their parents to get kicked out of their fucking home and to lose their goddamn family home. Like, everything's going to go up. Everything's going to go up. I mean, nobody's immune to extreme capitalism. Nobody's immune to elitism. Elitism doesn't care what your color is. Elitism cares about how much money you got, honey. And if you ain't got none, oh well, get your ass over there with the rest. That's really what it comes out. Oh, you from New York? Yeah, New York is going to be hit. The big to rig came from our side. Too big to rig came from whose side is that? I don't know. I don't like Trump. I don't know about who's big to rig came from your side. But I know one thing for sure. That the American people didn't vote for their best interest. What they voted for is what they gonna get. And I know Biden didn't vote for Trump. You see what I'm saying? I know Kamala Harris didn't vote for Trump. So when he says too big to rig, then that basically means something different than what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, because he was the president and he told people what to do and folks didn't do it. Folks were like, Biden's too old. They weren't worried about Trump on Epstein Island. They was worried about Biden being too old. He don't know what he's talking about. But Biden didn't cut your health care. Biden didn't do all this shit you're about to go through. So it's really ridiculous. People need to look in the mirror, man. Just look in the mirror. No matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, just look in the mirror. Just look in the mirror for a change. What is hard-headed about you? What's so complicated to fucking get? It's not complicated to get. It's your fucking hard head. It's your fucking hard head. Straight up. That's what it is. Like, get out of the fucking hard-headedness. Nobody's perfect. You, in the comment section, you ain't fucking perfect. You voters, you ain't perfect. Your shit stinks too. Like, seriously. And you're in a fucked up situation. together. You Democrats, you Republicans, you damn independents, you're in the fucking situation together. You're in the gutter together. Ain't none of you better than the other. You're fucked up. And you need to hear it. And you're going to hear it from another American citizen that's not blaming someone who voted against this situation. No, I'm not blaming someone that didn't cave in. I'm not blaming someone who did vote the right way. You see what I'm saying? I'm blaming the people that fucking didn't. And the people that didn't vote the right way and the people who didn't vote at all. Like, goddamn, what the hell? Like, you know, and actually this gave a green light for Trump to go after everybody now. See, all those little small gains that you made, man, Trump is going to go after everybody now. So in case you didn't like the easy way, you didn't like that. That was 2024. In case you didn't like the next easiest way, that was in this last thing. These steps that Gavin Newsom took, you know, Crockett took, you know, to try to boost up the population, get people to vote and stand up for themselves. Well, you didn't like that because now that, you know, this thing in the Senate kind of puts a damper in that. It doesn't stop it. It won't stop it. No, not at all. It just means it's going to make things more dire. So you have more of a reason to stand up now than you did before, which is like, God damn, like, do you really need more of a fucking reason? Yeah, I guess so. A lot of people don't like Trump. I hope, you know, well, I tell you what, they ain't going to like him now. You know, basically Democrats don't have to do shit, but just sit back and say, fuck it. Let these people have what they want. Let them see if they think this was good for them. Let it resonate. Let it sink in a little bit, and we'll see how they feel next year. You know, anybody who wants to blame someone who voted against this, I advise every person who voted against it, don't worry about it at all. Anybody talking about you the reason why, and you voted against it, just sit back and watch the pain sink in. Because it ain't on you. It's on all of us together. And if all of us together ain't smart enough to do something very basic for our own goddamn country and our own countrymen and our own standing, we don't deserve it. We don't deserve to have a fucking country, like straight up. And you ain't going to have one if you don't learn how to stand up for the basic things without being fucking confused and without turning in on each other. I mean, damn. It's crazy, man. You know, people, you know, again, somebody said Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump are evil. Well, there's two differences from them. One voted for your health care. The other didn't. So if you call evil wanting you to have affordable health care, well, then guess what you got? You got Trump now. He wants you to have even worse health care. So congratulations. Good job in your comparison. Both sides chose inflation, unreasonable pricing points, and tariffs because of Russia. No, because both sides aren't in the Supreme Court, my friend. There's only one side that's the majority of the Supreme Court, and that's the Republicans. So you kind of lost that battle right there. Anything you pass in the Congress and in the Senate and get signed by the president has to go before the Supreme Court. And if they don't say it's just and legal and constitutional, it gets shot down, just like student debt relief got shot down, just like the Farmers Act relief for the farmers that were discriminated against got shut down, just like a lot of reparative damages gets shut down in the Supreme Court. And guess what? That's not Democrats doing it. If you don't notice, you need to pay closer attention to the Supreme Court. You know, I mean, you know, that's so, see, this kind of game that people play about, they're all equal. You the type of motherfuckers that don't vote. So you can't expect shit from nobody. If you sitting back saying they all the same and they all equal, well, then why the fuck do you vote? I see why you don't vote. But then again, don't complain. If you don't vote and you could have voted, you ain't got nothing to say. Just shut it up, shut it up, shut it up, shut it up. And just whoosh, do what Massa tell you. Because you will be affected. You know what I'm saying? And if Massa tell you tomorrow you ain't going to ever vote again, fuck you. That's exactly what you're going to do. Okay. If he tells you you ain't going to have no health care, that's exactly what you're going to do. If he tells you you ain't going to have access to education anymore because you weren't smart enough to recognize a few little different nuances, that's exactly what you're going to do. And you're going to pay taxes for it. So, you think it's funny not voting and throwing out these anti-voting sideways comments and shit. Nah, they have real consequences. Saying both sides are the same is the message of don't vote. And there's a lot of people that sent that message out in 2024. And guess what they're getting now? They're getting what they asked for. Worse. Because that's what you ask for when you say both sides are the same. You're asking for worse. You're saying, I don't want to vote. I have nothing to vote for. That's what you're saying. And that's exactly what you're saying. 2/3 of the population said exactly what he said. Who was that who said that? God something. Hold on. Who said that? Sorry, not you. Damn, it's a lot of these. Any case, you get the idea. It's not any message to anybody in particular, but that comment, those kind of comments like that, that's what that mean. They both the same. Oh, well, now you know for sure. Are they both the same now? I guess what you're about to feel is the same thing you felt last year, right? Isn't that right? Okay. I guess that's what you feel. I guess that's what you must be numb. You must be numb. I mean, your skin is tough. You got tough skin. Where do you live? In a motherfucking bunker under the ground and shit with your own water supply and motherfucking food? Or you got a farm underground hidden away somewhere to where you can say both parties are the same. I don't feel nothing. No difference at all. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Do me a favor. Click the like button. I ain't got too long today. I just wanted to chime in on that. People should show down. Let me show you what a couple of people actually said here. In the meantime, there were a few comments and public statements. I'm sure more will be coming out. All right. And let me see. Is it this? I'm sure more will be coming out, but let me throw this up here on the screen. Y'all see this? Let me let this rock. Here we go. This is Kelly here.
And they're skyrocketing because this president doesn't care about them. And he wanted to give a big giant tax cut to the wealthiest Americans and pay for it by jacking up people's healthcare costs. Hey folks, I just voted no on this funding deal. And it's because in the richest country in the world, we should be able to afford helping the American people with healthcare, with their costs. And they're skyrocketing because this president doesn't care about them. And he wanted to give a big giant tax cut to the wealthiest Americans and pay for it by jacking up people's healthcare costs. Hey folks, I just voted no on this.
Yeah, so that was Kelly there. And let me see. There was also an article here. Let me pull the article up. One of the first to comment on this vote was Representative Rowe? What's his name here? Don't get me wrong. Excuse me. Not knowing the names all the time doesn't necessarily mean that I don't know them or respect their vote or how, or their work, But let me see here. Let me see. Hold on. I can look here. 2 seconds. Let me pull this up. I need to find it on my phone. Then I can find it here on the computer here real quick. But I think it was Rohan. Was it Rohan? Representative Rohan that actually yeah, there it is. It's Rohan. Okay, so let me pull that up. Ro Khanna. Let me see that. Let me see. Did Ro Khanna criticize Schumer? Don't get me wrong. If you want to criticize Schumer, I don't really care about that. I'm just talking about this time around. This shit ain't got it. This ain't Schumer, man. This is something else, and we got to keep it very accurate. And there's no need in there's a difference between having a theory, and having a feeling, and what is actual fact. So let me pull this up. Major funding deal. Let me see. I'm gonna pull these two up real quick. Can y'all see this? Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, this is Ro Khan. Let me see. Khanna. This is out of Times of India. Now, this is what he said. And don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is I do respect his work and I do respect his opinion. Don't get me wrong. I respect his opinion also. And I let me make the text larger. And I also respect his work. Now, don't get me wrong. The guy is a good guy, and is great. I'm just talking about specifically regarding this thing of criticizing Schumer, right? But maybe this could be because he's had this issue with Schumer for a long time or whatever. But I know one thing for sure: Schumer didn't vote for this bill. He voted against it, and he worked against it. So, all right, no longer effective Indian origin Ro Khanna calls for Schumer to be replaced amid skyrocketing healthcare premiums. I mean, it could just be a political move. Some people wanted Schumer out there a while ago, and just anything would be a reason at this point now. So, Indian origin Democrat Ro Khanna slams Senate minority leader. But the reason why I made my criticism is that I want American people to know that, no, it's you. Elected officials can't do shit if you don't vote. That is how it works. And any one of these people are liable to be the same if you don't come out and demand it through your vote. You got to understand that. Any of them. Indian origin Democrat Ro Khanna slams Senate minority leader Chuck Schumer over skyrocketing prices, healthcare premiums, and demanded to be replaced. Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. He made this right after the vote, by the way. No, right before the vote. I'm sorry. This is right before the vote. You see? Look at this. See that? You see this? What's today's date? This is the 10th. This is 3 a.m. Or is this right after the vote? Hold on. This might have been right after. Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop healthcare premiums from skyrocketing from Americans, what will you fight for? Khanna said. Senator Schumer is no longer effective, should be replaced. If you can't lead Okay, so this happened at 3. Okay, so this came as Affordable Care Act premiums are getting expensive. The enhanced subsidies, which are scheduled to lapse at the year's end, have enabled many low-income Americans to obtain coverage with no or very low monthly premiums, and broaden eligibility for assistance to many middle-class consumers. So that means middle-class and poor people, they're going to be hit largely on this. And a lot of people, don't like to see themselves as being middle-class, but this is what the majority of Americans are: middle-class and poor. This is what the majority of you are. So don't run away from what you actually are. And trying to pretend like you're something else doesn't make things easier. It only makes things worse. And there's nothing wrong with being middle class or even poor, to be honest, because, it doesn't mean you have it, that great with all things. But, at least you're not a evil person. You could still be rich and very evil. You could be rich, as you've seen, and be a rapist. You could be rich and be a pedophile trafficker like Jeffrey Epstein and like a lot of his friends protect him. You could be evil like that, right? No pride for your fellow American, dodging military service or anything like that, caring nothing about the average person. That's disgraceful. This is not the first time when Khanna questioned Democrat over health care crisis. Okay. On a post X, Khanna said, the reality is Congress doesn't do anything by November 1st, 24 million Americans healthcare. Okay. So now he's reverting to Congress. That's true. American healthcare premiums will double. I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Our healthcare system is broken. We need immediate relief now, followed by single payer health care, which is Medicaid for all. So he's agreeing that it's sad that these subsidies will be cut now, and that most Americans won't be able to afford it. Right. So he's on the right side with that. Yeah. But let me see something here. Let me see one more thing here. Did he make this statement before the vote in the Senate or after? I'm just curious because it says 3 a.m. I don't know what time that was in the U.S. And actually, I believe they're referring to 3 a.m. in my time. So that must have been 9 p.m. Okay. Ro Khanna criticism of Schumer was made before the Senate vote. Yeah. So this was made right before the Senate vote. So you got to see, this is interesting. Another little detail because, y'all didn't get to see what I was looking at. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me pull that back up. It was made. Oh, you can see this. You see, it says it right here. Can y'all see that? Boom. It was made before the vote. Right, on the floor. Just before the vote on the floor. So, again, I'm just saying this goes back to what I've been saying before, which is, damn, did the light go off in here? This is what I was saying before, is that we criticize people a lot. But this was what happened before the vote. And Schumer, he didn't vote. He voted against it. He voted against this shit. He was holding the line. Then we make comments like this. And then guess what happens? Some other Democrats go against it. Somebody who ain't Schumer, somebody who ain't anybody else. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like a drag. Some other senators just went ahead and went against it. And it wasn't Schumer at all. And here they go right here. And this is what I'm talking about, like the emotions and things. I'm not criticizing the guy saying that he only functions on emotions, but this kind of tendency to blame people that may not really be the ones that are the issue. It's one thing to have a feeling, but to accuse people, to make the accusation that this is not happening because of Schumer or something. Nah, this ain't happening because of the fucking American people. The American people are not smart enough to vote in their own interest. That's why that's happening. There's no other way around it. There's nothing that can be replaced if the citizens do not come out and vote in their own best interest, regardless of what any other politician says. You need to know what's in your best interest. Regardless of what the television says, you need to be active in your own best interest, and you need to know how that comes, and it's just my personal opinion. I've seen a lot of, not a lot, but significant enough podcasters to kind of like going in this way. And I'm telling you, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't correlate in my mind. Like, I'm a very specific analytical individual that relies a lot on details. And what I see is a lot of, on one hand, you got people that criticize Schumer, but, Hakeem held the line. But these same people that would also criticize Hakeem, everybody in Congress held the line. So where's the correlation? So it's not enough to just say somebody's been in power, and it's not enough just to criticize the people that vote, or, in your favor, that have leadership. Sometimes you gotta, look at the voter and say, what the fuck are you voting for, man? Like, this is beyond, listen, the safety and security of your country is beyond any goddamn party. You should know the difference when a billionaire is running for office. You should know he doesn't generally give a fuck about the average person. Why don't you know that as an American citizen? Why don't you know that? Why don't you know that it's not a nationalist party can't rely on people with 3 different fucking passports? You can't let a person, a naturalized citizen with 3 different passports, raid your treasury. Why don't you fucking know that? Why don't you know that can never be good for a right wing, left wing, center party, anything like that? Why don't you know that? Why don't you know that? And if you don't know things like that, you ain't going nowhere fast. And, and if you're wondering why it's better to just be consistently politically active regarding a vote, now you know why. Because the things that you took for granted that you had before and you complained about, you could lose those too by sitting back looking to point a finger at somebody who voted for you. I know so many people that fucking vote. They voted against Kamala Harris, and now their health care is getting cut. They can't afford shit now. They've been targeted for extermination, and they voted against Kamala Harris. Voted for Trump. Why don't you know? Why don't you know? I mean, anyway, click like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. That's my personal view. I'm an American who lives outside of the U.S., born and raised in Washington, D.C., family on both sides from the colonial era in the U.S. I love my country, and I just question fellow Americans like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you definitely, it's definitely not a good look. You're looking pathetic. You're looking pathetic. And I don't mean that about the people who do vote and the people who do vote the right way. The people that are smart enough to know, like, goddamn, everyone needs to have health care. Why isn't that standard? I'm not talking about those people that understand, hey, student debt relief was a good thing for everybody. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that voted against those things or didn't vote. Guess what you got? You got the America you wanted. You got the America you worked for. And you got the America you deserve. So don't complain. Do something. All right, y'all. I'm out. I appreciate everybody. Be good. And let's see if we can do better next time. Hopefully we will. Release the Epstein files. Don't forget the Epstein files now. Maybe you have. Maybe you don't care anymore. Oh well. See ya.
Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment, at the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hit the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gat. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. It's your dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. reality, see. They don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 rows to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct. Then I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink. But I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the brink. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear. But they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear. And they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know